But we'll get the mayor. Don't keep her waiting for too long. Due to the technical issue we'll get this morning, we don't run out of time, beyond time. But good morning, Madam Mayor, and welcome.
Good morning, Lambrana. Good morning, viewers.
I just talked to Abdul, and a pool way do say people are saying the APC should return to governance. You should go and work with the represent the people and do the people's work.
Okay, well, before I get to that, the two speakers before me make a couple of statements, but I feel to say necessary for me to address.
Fine, you can.
So one of them, Golokata, say the challenge with the implementation of the steering committee or of the recommendations from the APC side include the fact, say, the people that were there at the lead, they're flag bearers, and they be unfair to the people of Sierra Leone because we undermine each other. I want for just categorically say that is false and incorrect. On the contrary, the approach where APC flag bearers and they take in respect of this tripartite and all the issues around the implementation of the Agreement for National Unity, now a testament of the level of unity between we. As I've been sitting on at the hall, the wait for me own slot on this program, me and Dr. Kefala Mera talk. Me and Adi Macaulay talk before Ingo AYV the other night. Me and Richard Conte, we all the talk and work together as a team. So please, let us not try for use that as some kind of, red book.
There is no gap in information.
Diversion tactics, for try for good impression, say, APC then they just so for supremacy between themselves. Now make we they go fine. That is so incorrect. If anything, they will don't unify we as a group of people, particularly as the flag bearer aspirants. Now this question of the Agreement for National Unity and tripartite recommendations. Why? Because anybody where they seek for lead this country, where they go into an election, must be concerned for let we ensure, say, the will of the people be allowed for come through. The will of the people be honored and respected. So I just want to put that to rest. The other one way I feels to say necessary before I come on to the question you asked me, but I feel to say necessary. Now for let I just come and buttress, waiting for Toma when they talk, Abdul Fatoma talk about the dysfunctionality of the steering committee. So it will surprise you for note, or maybe not. Sometimes it will surprise you. Sometimes it will be obvious to you. It will sound logical to you. Say the committee, the tripartite committee, will give birth to the recommendations, being an inclusive committee. And I know say you get others we could say, but it should have included everybody. I want to say there may be 17 political parties or 16, as the case in me, I'm not sure how many still there. But when it comes to political parties, we're able for be represented in parliament and in the local councils, now the two. Now, APC and SLPP, waiting that to tell you. It tell you, say, the level of support of the other parties so small as a collective. So if you have 14 parties, or 12 of them we signed for that letter of in respect of Edmund Alpha, you get 12 parties. We collectively together not able to produce one councillor, not able to produce one member of parliament. Then we can safely say they're not representative of the people of the country. The one that we're able to produce the councillors, where they run whole councils, not the majority in councils.
But people voted for them.
Yes, but it's all a question of proportionality. Okay. It's all a question of percentage of representation. So if
having the seats like council and parliament
shows that you have a representation way significant enough for make you able for achieve a seat. So we're not to discount them, but what would you say? No, use them for say this is representing the people, because if they mean truly to represent a significant proportion of the people, then they go able for attain seats. So when we talk about the voice of the people, I believe say APC they within their right. Now we in the party will be aggrieved. Now we in the party we boycott from governance. We lead to the Agreement for National Unity. There were two signatories and a witness of the Agreement for National Unity. And I think say very, very important for let we not trivialize that. And why are they bring that come up? Because when it comes to this question of the steering committee itself, the inclusive nature of the tripartite committee being supposed for follow through, at the end of the tripartite committee recommendations process, a roadmap be developed, and that roadmap they being show, say, the expectation was just as there were two negotiators, there were the co-chairs of the tripartite committee. There being get expectations, say, we could also get co-chairs of the implementation. That roadmap was completely disregarded. But then,
so the implementation part where you talk is there
the
should
implementation
be
of the recommendations.
recommendation,
Yeah.
like you have a coordinator.
Well, when we've been there in the process of developing the recommendations, then we get two co-chairs.
Exactly.
You will get Professor Dr. Gaima, you will get Dr. Kafalamara. They sat as the co-chairs in those meetings for 6 months and produced the recommendations.
Is it not the same role the Chief Minister and Dr. Marade play?
No, because waiting happened when the recommendations then come out, when we reach to implementation, contrary to the roadmap, the design was changed without reference to APC. So we ended up now with a single chair of the steering committee, when at the chief minister. And one of the things that were very, very important for that we all
What's
realize.
Dr. Marade role? Which
So now you get two levels. And you may say the other day about specificity. So this is something we people need to understand. You have as the overriding umbrella the agreement for national unity. That agreement they gets chief negotiators.
Okay.
So it was previously Dr. Samuel Kamara and Dr. David Senge. Now we don't replace Dr. Samuel Kamara with Dr. Kefala Mara as the chief negotiators for the agreement for national unity, when are the umbrella agreement. Under the agreement for national unity, where in gets the 8 resolutions. Now there you get resolution 3, where birth the tripartite committee and the tripartite recommendations. So that tripartite process will come from resolution 3. In now, the way how the design be envisaged was that INSEF go get co-chairs, but waiting governments do, then bring a single chair, winner Senge. And
but is it not because our government they lead the process and the implementation?
You might argue that, but you could also say that if you get the spirit of inclusivity, we're being lead to having co-chairs at the level of the development of the recommendations, then if you develop them jointly, you not go get oversight jointly, because we know they say clearly, you're absolutely correct. Recommendation 80 itself actually talk about the recommendations going to cabinet for approval and implementation, because obviously these are government institutions we get for do the implementation. But the question of oversight, Fatoma referred to repeatedly, the question of oversight. Now, one way you expect inclusivity.
Is that not what you're providing as members of the APC?
So
the member of parliament, yourself, and the other mayors.
Let we go to one mayor. So there are 3 of us: myself, the mayor of McKinney, and the minority leader, Honorable Abdul Kagbo, in a committee of 20 with 9 government ministers. But all of this, we're there on paper. Now, one thing. Waiting important, not the reality. And I'm so glad the way Abdul Fatoma be able to pull in phone, because I could do the same. I go pull my phone, I go show you the WhatsApp group. When are they meeting, notice they go. But significantly, take note, when we say about oversight, there was a terms of reference. We don't left the roadmap. There was a roadmap developed which anticipated and documented how there could be a co-implementation process where oversight was tight and inclusive. We don't left Dandy. The very committee where it operates now, we get in own terms of reference where it developed, and none of waiting and right now the terms of reference for this committee they operate. Let me just give you some examples. I'm going to give you the key one. Terms of reference of the Tripartite Recommendations Steering Committee. Listen to this. to support the ministries, departments, and agencies in developing rollout plans for specific recommendations as it applies to them. To feed in to statutory processes such as the constitutional review process and legal reforms proposed by the tripartite recommendations. To support, this is developed for this committee where Golokata, they make reference to where I'm a member of. To undertake media and stakeholder engagements across the country to support the objectives of fostering unity and national cohesion. To support relevant public sector reform institutions to undertake a functional review of the electoral management bodies and the implementation of recommendations of the functional review. To oversee and supervise the work of the Tripartite Steering Committee Secretariat. Make I tell you, say, the time where we know, say, we don't get a Secretariat coordinator in the person of Golokata. Now, where we see in the post na social media about meetings the way he hold under the title Secretariat coordinator. So even his appointment was done without the knowledge of the steering committee. As you heard in earlier, the work plan was with no knowledge. In fact, that 3-month work plan, where references if my memory serves me right, he wasn't in office at that stage. If my memory serves me right.
Okay.
But if not, you mean it in order to change me specific point. And my specific point is that the actions, the functions, all of which are right so, read so, none of it is being done. And let's come on to the meetings themselves. I mean, you'd expect, say, a work plan, if it's available, for don't be made given to we, the members of the steering committee. We are not in possession of an annual work plan. You go expect, say, as it was written in the mode of operation of the steering committee, say you will get subcommittees, because then the way I described, so we'll do them in a 1-hour meeting also. That requires, and you've been in steering committees, you know that you have subcommittees.
And he mentioned that Abdul was part of a subcommittee of one of the Abdul Fatoma Bindina, one of the subcommittees.
At the beginning, way being involved with that 3-month plan, and then after that, there's never been a subcommittee. As he said to you, when Golo Kata talk about the annual plan and approval, waiting Abdul say, ask for the minutes.
So, Madam Mayor, there are issues there with the Secretariat and the implementation, the appointment of Golo. I've been on this course and he explained the process of how he was appointed.
Is no reference to the steering committee.
Is it not that now later on a catch up with this?
No.
Or these are issues where una been on the raise with the committee, because I don't see meeting with you, the AG. I don't see meeting outside the chief minister there with una, the members of the committee and all of that.
So I can tell you, say, this is meant to be a committee way operational. We suppose for Dede not to take over the work of the steering committee of the Secretariat, but by definition, a steering committee, for provide oversight, you must have information. You must be able to review the information. You must have reports. I can assure you, say, first of all, as Fatoma say, the meetings typically now 1 to 2 days notice. In the whole of last year, there were 3 meetings. One on the 20th of March, which lasted for no more than an hour. One with development partners on the 29th of May. Then another one with development partners, and when you have development partners, it's more like a presentation than a meeting, in September. And there was no other meeting past where they meet so in March of 2026. So the notion that this is a functional steering committee is completely false. There are no agendas except for this one. But actually, we don't withdraw from government. Now, we don't withdraw from government.
But the Secretariat gets a very functional website. I don't know if you can access it, get information.
Having a functional website. Let's get our situations or our understanding clear. If then get functional website, that's not mean to say the steering committee is effective. So two different things.
So the point I'm trying to make is, if making go on the website and they access information there, and the committee member like you not get access to the information they are? How does it happen? I just want to read one of the news where they put there. APC Chief Negotiator comments Tripartite Secretariat. This was published October 14, 2025.
Exactly.
He said, I'm impressed with the volume of work done by the Secretariat. And this is in Koto, and I must thank the coordinator and staff for all they done. You are doing a good job here, and I want you to keep it straight that way. Chief Negotiator on the Tripartite for the All People's Congress Party, Dr. Kaifala Mara, we've been the talk way pay courtesy call to the steering committee.
Great.
It means
no, to the Secretariat.
To the Secretariat,
yes.
On Tuesday, 14th October 2025.
Absolutely, and that was just after the APC replaced Dr. Samara Kamara and appoint Dr. Kaifala Mara into that position. In that same period, he also meets with the AG. He also meets with the Chief Minister in position as the chair of the Secretariat of the steering committee. Now, waiting you not know and waiting the website not go tell you is that subsequent to that, in position as chief negotiator, in that meeting with the other chief negotiator, he proposed, say, we need to have more information. Of course, you compliment and motivate the people working in the Secretariat. Absolutely right and proper to do.
Now later I realize that not the reality?
No. He not say they're not doing anything. I mean, and the point of the matter is,
no, I mean the things that are coming out now. Because if we commend them this way and una we don't they attend meeting, they say no, we don't have access.
No, he knows
to documents.
He knows
meetings are not called.
He knows.
The right way.
He knows. But when you day in diplomacy, you know there's a way in which you engage, right? But what was important was that he also write to the chief minister and say, moving forward, I recommend that we begin to work more closely together. I request this document. There were documents where he request. I request a subsequent meeting. I can tell you, say, from that letter where he writes to the chief minister in October 2025 to today, not get reply.
From the chief minister? Indeed.
And I can also tell you, say, waiting me when you read from where they tell you the terms of reference. Now, a letter where me writes to the chief minister in a capacity as the chair of the steering committee, and I will just read the last paragraph very briefly. This is a letter I wrote on the 5th of August 2025, in which I said, Chief Minister, may I respectfully suggest that given the importance of the implementation of the tripartite recommendations and having in mind the principles of transparency and inclusivity, the tripartite implementation steering committee is urgently operationalized. The oversight role of the steering committee is absolutely necessary, and it is imperative that it be exercised. This is with me saying in the paragraph below, or paragraph above, highlighting the lack of minutes, highlighting the lack of notice, highlighting the lack of operations of the subcommittees, highlighting the lack of time to actually delve into and space to delve into any issues. In short, highlighting the non-functionality of the steering committee. This was a letter written and requesting that we operationalize the steering committee and as it was designed to function, and not have a secretariat that reports solely into the chief ministers
of it. But Golo say they've been doing presentation. So
I don't tell you the number of meetings.
Yeah,
so I don't tell you the number of meetings.
Because I'm asking the question whether them issues they are, whether they engage on, if then they get contribution to them, they critique them,
a meeting which is 45 minutes long.
They do presentation.
Meeting which is 45 minutes long, and you're going, we've got no time, we've got no time. I mean, I've written this, and I did tell you again, 20th of March, this is the meetings in 2025, 20th of March, 29th of May, and then I think it was the 12th or so of September, in the entire year. No meeting lasting more than an hour. No, with 20 people in the room. That is not a steering committee. You cannot delve into issues of constitutional amendments, ECSL amendments, functional reviews. You cannot do that in the total sum of 3 hours in the course of an entire year. You cannot do that in a room of 20 people. That is why the design was to have subcommittees.
On record,
it was to have
on record.
Multiple
meetings. How many meetings them una don't hold and
the meetings are all right.
Issues them una discuss in them.
I tell you, say, I tell you, say this amount of time given is cursory. With a meeting of 20 people, you do not dive in, and that's what you need. You get a presentation, where then they go, ECSL don't present, NSCRA don't present, PPRC, and then you don't have time. You don't get the documents in advance. You don't see the documents in advance. So you are given a PowerPoint presentation, and then you are not given the space, the time, nor the ability for really get into any kind of detail. That is not the way of steering committee function, not also steering committee for function. But I want for come now to your question, if I may, because I'm conscious of the time.
Yes, answer the question. Then I just want...
Okay, go ahead.
No, I mean, just one let we look at, waiting at the... Because the data we, the Secretariat put out, me and Golodon go through them this morning.
Okay.
Then they check, it shows not started, 9% they not start amid.
Yes.
The one that way ongoing now
52%,
partially completed 27%, 10% completed, and 2%
non-applicable.
Yes, exactly.
So let me bring some things into your knowledge or to your attention. Golo talk about having a meeting with APC back in May last year. As a member of the steering committee and an interested party, I can tell you, say, in April, in fact, in March, when I looked the date where I save on my laptop, we received a report from ECSL on their own recommendations. ECSL is the bulk of these recommendations, whether now operational reforms or legislative reforms. And I will tell you, say, at that time, pretty much everything, 100% ongoing. And we now move in this 1 year on this ongoing. So let we be true to ourselves. I also find it very interesting the differentiation between ongoing and partially completed. What does that mean? But when we talk about some of these ongoing...
You say ongoing are things that could... they get time. Second quarter or nothing that to do with the election calendar.
When you look the election calendar, I can pull up the document from April 2025. Wait until we say this is going to be completed in the next quarter or in this quarter. Wait till we see a lack of sincerity in the implementation of the tripartite recommendations. So in this first few minutes where me and you don't discuss, wait till we focus on just now was the functioning or lack of functioning of the tripartite steering committee. And to me, that show clearly a lack of commitment to having an open process where civil society, UN representatives / women's organizations, but importantly, the main opposition party, able to get a process, a platform, usai the recommendations, then they really be opened up in front of. Because that's steering committee day for provide oversight over waiting to go on. Open them up. Let we see waiting to go on. Let we say, okay, how about this way? Because a steering committee, by definition, you don't say steering. We're supposed to give input, give advice, not make them put with it. But we are actually just there on paper only. So we don't talk about that. It's non-functional. So that already is showing you
with the implementation. No, agree. Say
wait. No. I don't say. Wait, listen to what I'm saying. No, listen to what I'm saying. Which I say is the first part of our conversation, because I want to be very clear. Let viewers understand whose side we come from as the APC. The first part of this conversation, don't make them clear. Say the steering committee, the implementation framework has been done in such a way for make it non-functional, for make we not get a platform where you get transparency, where you get opportunity for input, where you're able to see the direction in which things are going. Point one. Point two. 1 year after ECSL and the Secretariat provide updates, we get another update where basically not a lot has moved. In fact, pretty much nothing has moved of major significance. Because as I tell you the other day, when you look at the completed 23 to 28, all relates to very minor issues around the internals, a security apparatus, way tangential to the core of the matter. Number 30 now in reference to training, and number 80 now going to cabinet. But waiting very, very significant, and where we not for lose sight of. Now the fact say, when we look at those ones where not start yet, it include 20, waiting at 20. Recommendation 20, now the committee, wait for be Dana Parliament, this was agreed, approved, documented, signed off as part of the tripartite recommendations. Then we say, because now APC and government, we say, let me get a committee in a parliament. We go get oversight of all the electoral reforms we get for come to parliament. That committee for be chaired by a member of the opposition. According to waiting was their right, waiting they agree. From the get-go, when Honorable Abdul Kabir write to the leader of parliament for them sets up that committee, it was refused. So it hasn't started. Indeed, it hasn't started. And when we look at
but it's in the documents. He explains saying ECSL gets reservation about getting that committee, and then independence. I asked Golo that now. He explain about how.
When then develop the recommendations, they not develop the recommendations in isolation. They develop the recommendations. In fact, Parliament was represented. Parliament was represented in those committees. ECSL was witness to those committees. And when it comes to this, I must tell you, say, not only Honorable Kagbo right, in the same way me yourself right to the Chief Minister, but in the same way that the Chief Minister, as the chair of the committee, when a member of the steering committee write and raise concerns, there was no response. The same way with the Chief Negotiator right to chief negotiator after October, there's been no response. This has been the pattern. So when you come, let's move on to, let's say 1 to 9, of which you get ongoing and partially completed day within this. These relate to processes within ECSL. We get an EU consultant. We don't work in there, embedded in there, develop these processes, these procedures for adoption. Look then, Sidom. Of particular note is recommendation 14.
Yeah.
We talk about the voter register, where in that case, you can get a UNDP funded consultant, spend 2 months working on an assessment of how we go do, listen to this because this is key, how we go do voter registration and results management at the disaggregated level, forget the results polling station by polling station, and make sure them filter up. That report was completed in December. To date, it not only be shared by ECSL. And these, when you talk about steering committee, these are the things where we're supposed to really get, as the opposition party, get the opportunity look into.
But this gets timeline, right? Because it says in the report that it's ongoing. 2 international consultants are currently working with ECSL to conduct feasibility studies, and it says it should be completed in Q2 of 2026.
Later, you say the 2 international observers or staff consultants don't left the country from December. The report was handed to them in December.
But the timeline not completed.
But that's their timeline. Because if you look at the original timelines in the report, you go find out, say, almost every single timeline has lapsed. So go look at us, say, maybe they were too ambitious, is what I read from what he say in the timelines originally set out. But has there been a situation where you come to the steering committee and say, for recommendation 1, 3, 10, 8, this was the timeline originally in the report, we suggest and propose, say, the timeline be extended as per because of X, Y, and Z. No, that never happened. You're working to timelines which just keep rolling, because when we look at the report you produced in April of 2025, you gave us dates by which things would be done. In fact, many things, then they wouldn't just say it will be in the strategic plan. It will be in the strategic plan with no indication of who sent that strategic plan they go done.
Golo say, then role as a secretariat. Now forget some of them things you are done. What they're trying to do is now forget
get undone in secrecy.
No. But he was
without oversight.
No. He was saying they try for put up a team now where go monitor, for see how
self-monitor.
No. What he's saying as a committee, if they don't put on the report, say this is ongoing. But they need for know
so
how far,
tell you what
how
we
far that's gone.
propose
But
as
the
the
Secretariat
APC.
don't play their own part.
So wait till we don't propose at the APC, which is what was written to the chief minister when we chief negotiator writes to him. Where Dr. Kafala Mara writes to David Senge, wait till tell him, he say we propose an oversight a committee we go able or a body we go able give oversight, but also we don't reach now as a party. We don't conclude, say, this is not happening by coincidence. This is not happening innocently. We don't conclude, say, this is a deliberate effort and attempt for stifle the recommendations, the implementation. Why do we say that? We did talk because of the narrative around the implementation. We don't begin for happen. You have senior members of the SLPP party where they talk, say, now government sign no to SLPP party. We get senior members of government also where they talk about this being a gentleman's agreement. When you get a narrative like that beginning for develop, and then you see this kind of approach where oversight
is being... individual views when they represent the SLPP or even the government.
But it reflect in the actions.
No, but
because if you get key recommendations like recommendation 20,
the chief minister has continued. The chief minister don't continue when are the chairman where the lead government's own parts. Continuously don't say they have been implementing this whole agreement for national unity, the tripartite recommendations, and very recently it even posted the agreement for national unity and was saying they don't implement everything within that document.
Well, I think this is a good place. This is a very good place for let we do a reality check. Okay, so if you say you don't agree, you don't do everything on the agreement for national unity, and we talk about sincerity in this process, then I actually remember that point there, because if you say you've done 100%, let me look at the agreement for national unity.
You all go with line by line.
Let me pick them up. Agreement for national unity. You get them from you, myself get them.
Yes, I get the resolution. You all go to the preamble or the resolution?
No, let me left the preamble. Because we want to go to the resolution.
Let's go to the resolution.
Because we want to say 100% done. When you say 100%, no, so you not left nothing there.
So let me go to the resolution.
Number 1.
It said the parties resolve the following. His Excellency the President make a national address on dialogue, unity, cohesion, and peace.
Tick. Done.
The APC will end its non-participation in governance.
Done.
His Excellency the President, in consultation with the APC party, will constitute a cross-party committee on electoral systems and management bodies review with a 3-way leadership nominated by the government of Sierra Leone, the APC party, and development partners. This body will examine the electoral system, structure, and processes of the 2023 multi-tier electoral cycle. The committee will also be informed by previous elections with a view to highlighting and addressing the contentious issues of elections and the result management, including the collation, verification, authentication, and publishing of electoral data consistent with international best practice to enhance the credibility of future elections, Sierra Leone that guarantees elections to be free, fair, and credible.
So, now take the next steps. The terms of the reference will be developed. The duration shall be 6 months. The recommendations shall be actionable and implementable.
The committee will be gender balanced.
Now, you ask yourself, when you say done on this, now, waiting done, is it done if the recommendations are not implemented? Is it done if we now have no?
But is it done? Some of the recommendations are processed. So
it's in process.
Yeah.
It's not done.
No, but
so you cannot say 100% done.
But in the spirit of doing it, say we already get the process going. Is that not done? Now the spirit of what's in this say, so you not set up the committee, you not get the secretariat, on another get meeting. ECSL not do the review.
So
it's not done.
If you get a secretariat where you set up without on a one-sided notion or one-sided basis where nobody know but until una set them up, you chief minister or chief minister's office una do all the recruiting, nobody else was involved, the steering committee is not involved. If you get a situation where the steering committee is dysfunctional, no minutes, no agendas, no reports, no engagements, no subcommittees, no oversight is being played, if you get a situation where you get specific and important recommendations we're not move, then I don't think you can say this is
that's
done.
the functionality you mentioned. It's about the spirit
it will
of
be
waiting
done.
to say.
It will be done when the recommendations are done. Let's move to 4.
So what can you say on this? It's not done?
I say it's
Because of
ongoing. It's not
functionality?
done. It's not done.
So
because
even the setting
if you
up,
take
no,
them
but the
off,
idea of this is like setting up the committees
it
and
is
the secretariat.
partly done.
In your own estimation?
In my estimation, it's partly done
Okay.
because wait, let me get to something. The most important reason we go into money now because of the electoral reforms. Why? We know we had multiple international and local independent elections observers we confirm say the results had statistical inconsistencies, mathematical improbabilities. In other words, the results did not reflect the elections. We had results announced whilst boxes were unopened in Port Loko, in Cambia. We, the APC, no say those results did not reflect the will of the people. SLPP now win that election. We remove ourselves from governance. We no go court.
We no go challenge an election result and the electoral system provides
the challenge where we choose for now being for withdraw from governance. And what was the result from that? Was that we eventually agreed for negotiate with
the issue of SLPP not winning the 2023 election is assumption, because if we have been go court and challenge them, that could have proved whether they win them or they not win them.
Even though we not go court, as you full well know, civil society go court, independent lawyers then go court, then do waiting we before do. They ask for the disaggregated results, and it was never provided.
So
we all know
about challenging the results, say they not win the election.
The challenging of the results was done through the posture that the APC took. You can agree to disagree, but this is what was done. And the conclusion of that, which may not have come from a court hearing, was that we came to the table, and because we want peace, because we decide, say, let we put not the party first, but the nation first. Let we come to and agree on a negotiation predicated on this one thing. Waiting happened before, not for happen again.
That was also agreed by the president.
It was agreed by the president because he say himself been not unhappy with this.
Exactly.
So you come to the drawing board and you say review the reforms, review the electoral process, and come with reforms. If this process is being stalled, stymied, we get Golokata, they come and talk, say it is ongoing, the same level of ongoing 1 year previously, because I have right here the same report from 1 year ago. We still more or less in the same place.
Madam Mayor,
none of the key recommendations don't be fully implemented. Then I want to tell you, say, the position of the APC is that particular resolution 3 has not been completed.
Okay, let's go to resolution 4. The parties to the dialogue agree to the following: release of any persons arrested, detained, or in prison for alleged elections and civil protests informed by a list to be submitted by the APC and other political parties and considered by the government of Sierra Leone. That is done?
We are in the process again. So yes, everybody is aware. Oman no say some people's cases have been dropped,
including you,
including mine. But I get colleagues. I mean, I go use them as another example because we get exactly the same case.
The name then
Madam Yabom, he named in the list, and I know say the list. I mean, one person in all of this where I must commend in terms of your own level of engagement with the opposition, now the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. I must commend them. I cannot get this conversation and not recognize, say, it all really, really show good faith, and perhaps not just workload, but the reality of the situation is the cases then still will not be completed.
At what percentage?
In terms of percentage, I go find it hard for say, because you get a mix. You get the COIs where none of them not be done. None of them not be addressed.
The COI is part of this?
Some of the COIs, because some of them are political. The COIs were political. People then they were.
I'm not seeing any side with and
because it's political. Because the political case.
But in
political
most
cases,
of the conversations I've been having is because this I read again. It say release any person arrested, detained, or in prison for alleged elections and civil protest, informed by a list to be submitted by the APC and other political parties.
Go on to the next one. Go to B.
The discontinuation of any politically motivated court cases.
The
APC. So APC believes
yes. You get
COI to the AG.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And we get cases then where people then filed on loss, where they don't disappear. And as a consequence, nothing has been done. But this AG is fully aware of that. He don't acknowledge that, and steps are being taken.
Okay.
But what the point where I make is, it is a work in progress.
Not done it.
Not done it.
Okay, let's go to C. Supports the resettlement of any political party supporters internally and externally displaced due to political intimidation, attacks, and harassment, informed by a list to be submitted by the APC and other parties and considered by the government of Sierra Leone as soon as possible.
That one day more or less done. All the way thing we can realize is the list where we submit, there were people within exile. We subsequently their names then come, and now we did get some challenge for ensure say people who went on the original list, because it's difficult for pull all of that information. Many people that remain in hiding and so on. So we still get a continuation of that day.
Okay. D, that upon assumption of their elective governance position, all elected APC officials, members of parliament, mayors, chairpersons, councillors will have the issue regarding their entitlements addressed accordingly by the appropriate institutions. Then they don't be addressed.
Then they don't be addressed. But if you see specifically that second part, APC share of seats in accordance with the Constitution of Sierra Leone, my understanding from Parliament is that they're still disproportionately represented in terms of leadership of committees in Parliament.
Okay, but the emolument,
so ongoing.
The emolument part has been
addressed.
Parliament to address any issue. Okay, now you mentioned so leadership composition.
Correct. Not completely done.
Both
and in fact stalled to the best of my knowledge.
Okay. Hopefully, I will enable Abdul Kabir.
Yes, you will able to talk better to that.
Both parties agreed to the institutionalization of an inter-party dialogue framework between the APC, the SLPP, and other political parties. This will be facilitated by the government.
So this one way not is seen for the function very well. There's a PPLC setup, but if you go now to the tripartite recommendation, now you get a bit of a conflict, because you get a tripartite recommendation for PPLC. We specifically say PPLC forgets co-chairs. You forget the PPLC, but then you get these two co-chairs of the two largest parties, the government and opposition, wait for co-chair, and that meeting everything where ECSL, all decisions being taken, etc., for be brought to that for information. That's not happening. So this again, as written, yes, there is a platform, but it not reflect which is subsequently come along from tripartite recommendations in terms of making it as appropriate and effective as possible.
Okay.
So I've also put half.
Now go to 6. Both parties commit to re-engineer and rekindle the relationships within the national socio-political ecosystem, such as between His Excellency the President and former political leaders, former presidents and vice presidents, and the APC and SLPP leadership, etc.
Well, I don't think I need for comment on that, because I think we all know who's side with you on that one day.
Even at national level, with an executive presently, there is no...
I mean, we just don't give you examples. Besides the fact, say, former president, Ernest Koroma, His Excellency Ernest Koroma, is in exile, effective exile.
Is he not on medical?
He's on medical. He is on medical.
So what you're saying he's on exile?
Well, I mean, when we just know the circumstances, I'm not going to say more. But this not the spirit of this not reflect with waiting to happen. But then coming now to you just make reference to me, just give you 3 examples of where leaders of the APC And that also goes for the acting national chairman, because the acting national chairman also write, to His Excellency the President in the last few weeks requesting a meeting, to which he received no response. Golo Kata talk about engagement, but I just explained to you, say, when we write and raise concerns about the non-functionality of the committee, I write to the chair of the committee, which is what you expect for to be done. Not even an acknowledgement of receipt of letter. Same with the chief negotiator. You get one meeting with your peer. After that, the person will write to you, say, can we meet? It will call you. It will text you. So if we talk about re-engineering and rekindling the relationship with the national socio-political ecosystem, it not look like, say, the one day way na den day in governance, actually the support.
How much effort don't they make?
I'll just give you some examples.
Yeah. Apart
but there are many. There are many. I mean, I tell you, say, Abdul Kagbo writes for, say, we're in Parliament, our seats, our membership, this committee. No responses.
But there are instances of you and the chief minister don't take photo, they meet.
You see,
the conversations
very, 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 very.
You can bring up these issues to him and the conversation about the concerns and we don't raise.
Oh, I think, say, the bringing up, taking a photo, by the way, is not the same as having an official conversation. And
well, it tells the public somehow. It shows that people here get some relationship. They can speak, they can talk.
One of the things where I mentioned we not lose sight of, which is also waiting APC still they do. We're very, very concerned about ensuring, say, that initial resolution where president make a speech about, because speech is one thing, the actions therefore be followed through by everybody. Dialogue, unity, cohesion, and peace. Then that's something where we don't put a premium on. We don't really put a premium on. Now make we go into money. Now make we go na the Tripartite recommendations. Now make we don't bend over backwards. Because when I write to that letter to Chief Minister, I tell and say, I did consider whether or not it even makes sense for us stay as a member of the Tripartite committee. But on reflection, I say, okay, I'm not walk away. Let's stay in this committee, and hope every committee meeting, I continue for raise the issues, flag the issues, say, this is not how this committee should work. These are issues of significance. I mean, you cannot expect for discuss a 80-page report after a 10-minute presentation in 5 minutes. That is not wanting our input. That is wanting to tick a box.
Okay. Now go to 7. The government of Sierra Leone and the APC party secretly condemn all citizens at home and abroad who incite violence, spread hate speech.
That was done.
That was done. And 8, it's a... there shall be actions and commitments by the parties to implement the agreements reached during the mediated dialogue. To this end, the government of Sierra Leone and the APC party commits to the establishment of an independent committee of moral guarantors whose membership shall be agreed by the parties to support and monitor the implementation of this agreement. That's not the Secretariat, right?
No. The moral guarantors are not the Secretariat.
Okay.
The moral guarantors being supposed to consist of members of the international community, those that women come and facilitate the dialogue. So you can get the ECOWAS, you get AUU, you will get, Commonwealth, they mean recuse themselves from that and decide to then go continue with the process at that level of being moral guarantors. But you can get UNOAS, and then we've been supposed to also get locally the Independence Peace Commission. And I think, say, there was talk about bringing other parties, but for, say, we ever got a final list, the moral guarantors.
This not in existence. You're not aware.
Well, the operations of the international ones.
Because I don't see the meetings with moral guarantors.
The international ones, that was definitely identified because are the one that we facilitate.
Okay.
But whether or not they then fully develop that. Again, if you remember the way this thing happened, there were conversations in Bintumani which should have led to sort of the expanding of this, but their moral guarantors, the local ones, I don't recall that they may actually ever finalize a list other than the independent.
I think initially it was the APC as well. We've been opposed to certain institutions and being part of it.
So I don't think that was ever concluded. But we don't move
so
forward.
So I don't go blame government for that day.
Well, no, if we oppose them because of what that they put in, but at the end of the day, we need to agree on something. But wait till we definitely move forward with our moral guarantors, the international ones, and on that note, so for be very clear, this note about the Secretariat. So those moral guarantors don't pay a visit, and then they come again in April. Given waiting they go on now, then don't fast track their mission. Then before kind of the end of April, but then now they come middle of April, because then see the need in this role as moral guarantors. And coming back to this question of monitoring and oversight, that would be one gap we've been always there. There wasn't really.
Well, I've been seeing frequent meetings.
No, not frequent.
No, I don't see meeting where the chief minister they get from the time where the U.S. ambassador been there. What is his name?
Oh, you talk about the development partners?
Yes.
So let me clarify.
No, but
the development partners are not the moral guarantors.
I just want to ask. Okay. Don't they play that role as moral guarantors as well in the absence of like you say, the one that we've been for day exactly?
Well, I mean,
because I don't see their updates. Una don't meet with them, right?
Oh yeah.
And una they give updates about things them una things all right with them.
So what's the point where they try for me?
So I'm saying, are they not playing that role as moral guarantors as well in the meetings them una they get with them?
Shall we just read what it says?
I understand what it says, but I'm asking, in the capacity when they meet with them, which role are they playing?
So let me be clear on the responsibility of a moral guarantor and then the role of the international community generally. Okay, so absolutely, we don't see as given the role we then play, because when it comes to even the running of the Tripartite committee of the Secretariat, it's being funded by development partners. The Secretariats, we go look at us, it's being funded by development partners. So, of course, then get a role for play. And we don't engage with them from the perspective of making sure they're aware of waiting we see as the challenges, and also waiting we also, having the opportunity for perhaps pass messages on. I mean, one specific request where we make in November of last year to that body where you talk about now for learning facilities, and again you asked me, say, to what extent has the APC been trying? In November of last year we meet with the international community, and one specific ask was for, say, we're still dissatisfied with the rate of progress of the implementation. We still see a lack of sincerity, which was highlighted, underlined, underscored by the approach of way government take in respect of the appointment of Edmund Alpha. We still see this concern, say, the pace at which it go. Let's take example, recommendation 38. Recommendation 38 now concerning the census. We have a situation, Usai, we say the census for be done according to the recommendation 2 years before the election, but we see government delay the census by 1 year, and if the recommendations stand without a transitional clause, which was feasible, viable, possible, if the recommendations stand without a transition clause, then you go get a situation where we're going to look at the 2021 very, very botched census as waiting and go use for the 2028 elections. So these sort of conversations all come to the table. We also see the situation where we talk about how the electoral commissioner for be appointed. So these were brought to the international community, and we asked them for facilitating meeting, because as we don't write, we don't get response. You hear us say that, right? With chief negotiator write, you don't get response. You don't get answer. So in the way in which you talk about the role of the international community, we say to them, well, UNA facilitates meeting. That was in November. We did March. No such meeting has happened. So we actually asked recently, say, is it that UNA forget for try, or succeed or not succeed? And in terms of the answer we'll get, I will just left answer, because we have not been clear. But what it says, it was clear from the posture. It is clear from the posture of government that these recommendations, now in a case of now we be say we not say again.
The first question we ask, now we end with now.
Yes.
Abdul Fatoma Chadi them pool. People are saying, you know, the APC for go back to governance and represent them and do the people's work.
Well, I go take Abdul Fatoma in previous poll where he asked people them whose electoral system they want to forgo it. Where he came out, I believe it was 68%, say first past the post, where they in line with waiting the civil society, their own votes being come out with, where they say only 10.5% being favor PR, where they in line with waiting we get from the Interreligious Council, their own position paper, the Sierra Leone Labour Congress, their position paper, the Waiting Council of Churches Sierra Leone, their position paper, we all categorically rebut the assertion of government, say that national dialogue result in we people then say for use PR. Why are they bring that? Why they bring that as to the table? Because recommendation 78 of the Tripartite recommendations being say for do a national dialogue. When you talk about a process where the clear to the APC say the implementation of these recommendations, not cherry picking, done as you want, how you want, in order for get the result where you want. If not they, we don't end up. And then we are stonewalled in terms of engagement. Our role in terms of oversight and being part inclusive in the implementation, the be on paper and not in practice. Then we as a political party get for ask ourselves the question, say, when we sign in good faith on the 18th of October 2023, that agreement for national unity, you remember, you just read them. Resolution 2, what he been say? Say we go end, we boycott and return to governance. If now we get resolution 3, we're at the heart of the matter. You might say that the lip service is that, oh no, individuals and talk and say a gentleman's agreement with your senior individuals, where then it's where then say you want where you want talk to deaf man, talk to him Peking.
Madam Mayor,
when
the opinion
senior
poll from Chadi says 76% view it negatively, the boycotts. 72% say it's arms oversight. The public prefers participation over the ongoing protests, with 68% feeling democracy is undermined. Key points include that only 26% support the boycotts, integrity, and that 72% note harm from the lack of opposition.
So wait till I not go do. I not go challenge Chadi then source. You know, because I don't quote Chadi when it comes to the PR.
Exactly.
So I don't go challenge then source. But I go tell you, say we view as a political party, we know they removed, we they in the pot, as it were. We they right in the heart of the matter. So until we better informed than the general public for able for can to then conclusion they are. And I go also tell you say that we self don't engage, even as recently as 2 days ago, I'm going to talk with one of we members of parliament. We just hold a consultation meeting with own constituents. Me as a mayor of Freetown, I still meet with constituents. I mean we meet with. And
then say you know go walk.
There has been a lot of positive response to this position. Why? Lambana, me na person way what I do in terms of my day-to-day work in the council, in terms of delivering services for people, that's something we're passionate about. You know, I mean, I am in governance for deliver, not in theory, but in reality and in practice. So it's not easy for me for able for say, let me step away. But there comes a time in a political environment where you realize, say, you need to take an action in order for you hold to account the ruling government, and this action will
affect
take
services and affect the people
you know, because the people where I represent Are they
This is a political disagreement.
No, it's much more than that.
Yeah, no, but
allow me for
land.
It is much more than that. Lambrana, let me not trivialize what is at
No, I'm not
stake.
trivializing.
Okay,
You know what I'm not trivializing? You know what I'm not trivializing? Why I'm concerned about service delivery and what is happening. And no council go to support schools them, right? There are schools where council they support.
Well, let's tell you the reality.
Them will not get nothing for do with.
Let's tell you the reality. Let's tell you the reality.
I don't drive now this city. I see waste around.
Yeah.
I see how it's now health hazard to we.
Yeah.
There are dead bodies around. Their functions, everybody gets in functions. I understand that, but I understand back safe me mayor day if council functional. This is something the mayor could raise, and maybe there will be an amicable solution for understand how to pick them body there.
Let me pick.
For me, that is also important than just
very important.
How elections should be and who should conduct our elections.
Very important. Very important. Let's break them down into a number of parts to this response. I'll go start first with some of the assumptions where to be made about waiting we absence to do in terms of council. Let tell you say when it comes to devolved responsibilities such as education, the devolved functions, council enroll with devolved functions, financed, excluding sanitation. But the one way you mentioned, in particular, education, with devolved functions in respect of education, financed by disbursements from government. Okay? Council takes on additional functions because it is just in our nature to do so. We support schools then beyond waiting government ask we for do and waiting government the finance. But note something. For the last 1 year and 3 months, this morning I get a text message and one because now an SLPP mayor and I want sort of like calling name like himself. I don't know how that will be reacted to it on his party side. But at early this morning, 6 o'clock, me and a mayor from the SLPP, the exchange, we're in the expressing frustration, saying that 1 year and 3 months now, government has not dispersed a single penny to any council in this country. So when it comes to functions of where do you expect councils and perform, I want you know say there are many councils where unlike we're not able through me own leadership. You know, because when I came into governance, it was 48% of our revenue was coming from.
Madam Mayor, that's 48%. The point I'm making.
But it's not only Freetown.
No, but the point I'm making
is not only Freetown.
The point I'm making is even with the challenges of disbursing funds, you've been
zero funds.
Yeah, but that is what I'm
zero funds.
But you've been providing leadership at that council and addressing some of the concerns and challenges there.
Of course, because that is what's that's make me.
But you're not there now. You know the worst in the situation.
But listen to me. I want for like when I say something, you take all aspects of what I say. There's something I've said where very significant, where we not for lose sight of.
Okay.
The government where they say we the be as APC, we the fail for do we responsibility, we the fail for meet the needs of the residents. That same government has for the last 1 year and 3 months not dispersed funds to not one single council. That is government's responsibility when they fail for meet. So when we talk about what we should be doing, let we make sure say we balanced, because we reason for stepping out, my own reason as an APC for stepping out now because of this wider question of democratic rules, democratic governance, democratic principles being upheld. But know that even before we reach here, because some weeks ago, where we've been to talk about the issue of the crisis in council, we come before this boycott and waiting in creatum, the Ministry of Local Government being suspend with finance officer without pay for 3 months, even though me as the political head, but who also happens to be a chartered accountant and therefore a technical expert in this area, even though I've been right and tell them say, don't do it because there are technical tasks that only he can perform. The crisis of sanitation where you see happened not because of the boycott, but because the budget of FCC was not uploaded into the system for 3 months, and therefore no checks could be written from January to March. So again, let me put responsibility.
It was under this same
responsibility.
Again, the point I'm making, it was under this same challenge. I remember school buses then parked, there was no fuel.
That offend solution.
Yeah, exactly.
Because me and mayor.
But that is the point I'm making.
But government get responsibility.
That is
government not on pay for the fuel, for the school buses right across the country for 1 year now.
I'm not sure any other citizen would say we not blame government for not taking their own responsibility. But as much as we did do that, you say for take responsibility.
Oh no, but now two different things we talk about. We talk about operations, and then we talk about a political challenge.
Madam Mayor, it was under this same challenge where you mentioned. I just mentioned, we knew we ran that story that school bus and park.
All over the country.
Exactly, but you intervened, right?
In Freetown, we make sure say we're able for fairness solution.
But this same government, because you were working.
This same government.
Was it because you were in council, right?
This same government.
No, don't clarify that. It was because you were working.
Because I was working.
You've not been there under boycott.
I've not been there under boycott.
Exactly.
I found a solution. But what create the problem? What create the problem? Now a government we say then they for the people. A government we say then they deliver. We not pay for any school bus for the whole of the year for all the entire country. So let's also be very clear about reality. I want to come on to
Madam Mayor, I want to
come on to the dead bodies.
Yes, no.
I want to come on to the dead bodies.
Okay, quickly,
because that has been a major issue.
Yeah.
Lambrana, it was, I believe, the 20th of October, 2025, when I sat here. You sat there. In conversation, you asked me what the situation was. I revealed the number of bodies on that date. I believe it was at that time 227 dead bodies that we had collected. The response of government, and it came back to good faith. It came back to an approach way inclusive, an approach way collaborative, an approach way interested in delivering outcomes and not in posturing. What happened? I tell you, say, I don't write. I don't put it on social media. But I had written to the Minister of Internal Affairs for tell and say, waiting to go on, so I am very uncomfortable. Because, Lambana, till date, as I talk to you, the conversation is still in the wrong place. The conversation is still about the operations of collecting bodies and not asking the real question, why we get dead bodies on the streets of we city in peacetime. That's not the real question. When we get a conversation, it ended up with a whole series of events. Me being threatened of administrative action, told that I was trying to create, an outcry rather than dealing with the situation. And then eventually, having been called to a big meeting at State House, we were issued with a protocol where we say, don't pick up the bodies.
You never provide some meeting no more.
And guess what? I don't think so we don't get reach 2 burials. Even under that, because then for country with the death certificates or what you call autopsy reports.
You say that they do. Then they do. I say then they do autopsy and
then bring them. Then we don't get 2 mass graves with no request 2. And I believe the number of bodies that we don't see reported for don't pass that, so I don't know what's happening to the bodies. But I will not. And let's also get this into context. APC boycott began on the 2nd of March.
I'm talking about
3 weeks.
Body them right now.
No. From October to now, from November 1 to now, so it don't pass the number of bodies that we don't see.
The pool from Chade going formed. Whatever decision the APC could take in getting back
I believe what you see. You may have seen because I was on social media yesterday. Say, interestingly, in the absence of the mayor of Freetown from City Council, the chairman of the SLPP now convene a meeting. Chairman, not the Minister of Local Government, not the Interministerial Committee chairperson. But the chairman of the SLPP party now convened a meeting yesterday with SLPP councillors can tell them, say, then they can do a framework of operations for how to run the council. Excuse me, I'm a little bit confused. We get arms of God. Waiting at the role of a party chairman in the running of FCC.
He engaged councillors of the SLPP, just like how you party say not gonna governance.
No, but for run the count, I mean, the party say no, but how Indy come into the, how Indy provide a functional
perhaps he's not giving
review
directive
system.
No, but perhaps he's not giving.
He said for streamlined decision making within the council.
But he was speaking to members of the SLPP, can councillors them. Now they get meeting with just like how a party can get meeting with you, right? Is it not allowed?
But I mean, I'm sure it's allowed. But I've been very curious about the level of involvement of the SLPP party chairman in the day-to-day functioning of a governance institution.
But the SLPP chairman not gonna council office.
You see,
I saw the notice.
You read waiting at the agreed steps.
The point is.
But let's also. I say this.
He was talking to government people, members of the SLPP.
But Lambrana,
if APC councillors and MPs go say, okay, we party say, I had Honorable Timbona yesterday and he was saying, he said actually people actually voted for political parties.
True.
So if the party tell you say not do this, you know go do this.
Yes.
And that is what you're following.
But I believe
if the party tell you say oh can get a meeting over a solution and the SLPP members, is that not allowed?
I think waiting we get for make a distinction on, and this is a very, very, very important point in everything we do. We need to work within the context of the law. I don't also hear say, as government spokesperson say, then go remove Mayor Akie Sawyer. There are legal provisions where allow for or create the platform for the removal of mayors and chairpersons.
Okay.
There are sections of the Local Government Act where get for be followed. And you cannot just because a political party take a political action, exercise with democratic right for protest. When I would do so, we did exercise with democratic right for protest. That's not give the government the wherewithal or the permission for now break the law. Because we did work within the law.
Okay.
We did operate. This protest is within the law. It is within our democratic right. So
but
you must also
like
provide
members of parliament. The law provides if they not go such a sitting that then go
30 sittings.
I don't know what it says for mayors.
Mayors actually know. Okay. You can't remove me based on non-appearance at sittings.
Okay.
You actually have to go through a legal process. There are certain criteria, one of which requires 2/3 of councillors for impeach me. The other, which is the president, requires 2/3 of members of parliament to vote in favor of the president's removal.
Okay.
So you can't just sit down and say you did pull the mayor and you can't make other person cancel.
Madam Mayor, finally, is there an end to this?
Yes.
What is it? Is it about waiting APC wants being done, or or else will continue for stay out of governance?
So, Lamrana, you know earlier on when you talked to me, when you say about service delivery, waiting we see and waiting we sense now a pullback from the agreement for national unity from the perspective of implementing the electoral reforms, where we've been saying let 2028 not be the same as 2023, or in the president's own words, as previous elections. We all come together and say we want a future where when elections are done, we go get results where everybody go get confidence in, because the process free, fair, and credible.
Okay.
That now for the benefit of we all. It's not to just about having the streets cleaned today. Now about making sure we actually get multi-party, functional, effective, inclusive democracy tomorrow. If we did do this boycott today, now one thing paramount in my mind, Edmund Alpha na been the straw we break the camel's back. But as you hear it from me, I give so many examples. I talk about recommendation 38. I talk about recommendation 78. I know say for the viewers, sometimes these are just numbers, but because of time, I'm not going to go into each one.
Yeah.
Recommendation 14, voter registration, results management, census, use of census, national dialogue being inclusive and reflective. If we see these things are not happen, if we see a situation where the person we appointed circumventing the bill we already did in our parliament, in detail we say, as people of this nation, say 2028, not get for different from 2023, then we as a political party believe, say, this is a time we have to stand up.
But very
And
recently,
let's tell you
Monalva
something
don't
else.
say their trust issue in ready for work for build the trust of ECSL.
Paddy?
They don't send letter to now for even get a meeting.
Paddy?
Don't you take him for those
No,
words
we don't.
as well?
No, we don't. We don't. Because there's too much evidence. This man was at the heart of all the irregularities in 2023. He was at the heart of irregularities in previous by-elections. But in all don't they, we did talk about a situation in which, as a government as a whole, we don't see a dragging of feet. I mean, the non-functionality of the tripartite.
Madam Mayor, the government
committee.
clearly don't make them position on this. I saw a video of the Minister of Information yesterday, Chegnoba was saying their position is clear on this. President followed the law, appointed Edmond Alpha, he has been approved by Parliament. Honorable Tawa was saying here yesterday that it's not even possible for reverse that decision. With waiting APC the request. So Edmond Alpha continues to be the ECSL chair and commissioner. APC will continue to not collaborate and be part of governance.
So what we say very clearly in we recent press briefing is that we committed to peace, national cohesion, unity. We also committed to upholding democratic principles and ensuring, say, as a political party, we operate within the context of the law. But we don't determine, say, this boycott, where we do for good reasons, which I've already highlighted. Now, one step in terms of the expression of democratic protest. The next step could be a nationwide demonstration.
And you'll join that?
And most definitely. Most definitely.
You need police clearance as well to do that.
The inform the police. Reading of the law is that there's a requirement to inform the police.
Not getting a clearance from them.
Me not to a legal expert. But I did tell you, say, waiting me understand is that we need to inform the police and work with the police.
As a political leader in our APC, as a flag bearer, if they're not given a clearance, if they're not given a clearance, when I inform them, you come out and protest?
As we say, I think this is a position where all of my peers and my colleagues don't take. We not anticipate, say, the Sierra Leone police not go want for be supportive of the exercise of a democratic right. So we're not even countenance, we're not even imagine that. That's a hypothetical situation.
But you were talking about laws, their processes
this
and
is
procedures.
So this is the procedure.
So if the police know...
So what you really say is we not anticipate that negativity today. You might want to think of a negative outcome.
No, not a negative. I'm asking if.
No,
that
but
doesn't mean
our
it's
position,
negative. I'm
our
saying
position,
the police... A lot of people don't apply for protest. Police can say no.
Position is that we expectation. We expectation is that the police go work alongside the main political party because we are going to be protesting.
If the police don't meet that expectation,
because we are going to be protesting not only about this, but we believe, say, this is an opportunity for we as an opposition party also reflect the issues where so many 90% of Sierra Leoneans, per the Afrobarometer study we then do a few months ago, say they are either directly or indirectly affected by Kush.
Okay.
This is an opportunity. This protest, we also go to protest about the drugs crisis within the country.
It's not about
the cost of living crisis.
It's not about
within the country.
appointments.
Oh no, this is broadening. It's broadening because as a political party...
And we're going to take responsibility, if anything...
As a political party, we believe, say, the voices of Sierra Leoneans need to be heard.
There's been instances...
And there are issues.
There's been instances...
There are issues that where they really, really trouble the average Sierra Leonean. For we see just in the space of a number of weeks Literally a number of weeks. We go from 25 Leons to 32
Madam Mayor,
Leons.
are you shifting this
We don't shift them.
protest from the issue of the implementation of the tripartite or the appointment of the Alpha to economic issues? Is that what you're saying?
No, we not the shift them, we the expand them.
Oh, we not the expand them.
And we go the protest over a number of issues. Of course, the tripartite
will you take
recommendation
responsibility
remain number
as
one.
Political leaders, if anything?
As I say, the position of the party is that we go work within the law. The position of the party is that we seek for hold a nationwide peaceful, underline the word, peaceful protest in respect of waiting we see as government reneging on the implementation of the tripartite agreement.
That's a timeline for this protest?
We go communicate with the general public through the party channels in due course.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Madam Mayor. Thanks for your time, and we appreciate that you've been patient with me because of the technical issue we'll get this morning will not start quick. But thank you so much for speaking to us this morning, and we'll continue the conversation when UNA decide for communicate with the public about the planned protest.